You would never, ever knock. You would never knock a Jewish person for saying, what you going to do for Israel? If you did, you'd have no show. See, I don't see Kamala with anything specific about black people. I don't. Now, white folks, whenever a candidate runs and they don't say black or Latino or Native American or Asian, they talking to you. Let's just keep that 100, okay? Because listen, because I get too many, it's just crazy. Like, you don't realize that whenever a politician's talking, they are talking to you unless otherwise stated, okay? Because some of my white friends get upset like, well, what about me? I've got a family. I need to live indoors. You're right, you do. And they need to speak specifically to your issues. The thing is, you are the default. I'm not saying it's your fault. It's not your fault that you are the default, but you are the default. So recognize that. So in order for them to talk about our issues, we have to make them be specific. Because if not, what they say, the squeaky wheel gets wet, it gets the oil. Now, some people act as if this is a hard concept to grasp. With Shannon Sharpe. And I had a conversation with him about it. It was a very brief conversation. Because, you know, he clapped back. I got time to be talking to this guy. Who is this guy? He ain't on FS1. Who is he? Who is this guy on Twitter? Time to talk to this guy. All right? This is what Shannon Sharpe said. He says, why must blacks? He ain't talking to white folks. He ain't talking to Latinos. He ain't talking to Asians. He says, why must blacks running for political office always answer the question, rather they're black enough by black people? Okay, let me just read that again. Because some people who went in at me for talking directly at Shannon Sharpe the way I did, because I don't have time to play with them, they ignore the fact this don't make much sense. But listen, one more time. It says, why must blacks running for political office always answer the question, comma, rather they are black enough by black people? So white people should ask black people if they black enough. Look guys, who the hell, hold on a second, let me get back on the screen, guys. Here we go. All right. Who the hell asked any candidate if they was black enough? Who asked the candidate if they were black enough? I don't remember that. We all know. Let's cut the shit. He talking about Kamala Harris, guys. Come on now. That's it. He done took time off of smoking big cigars and looking at his football rings or whatever and chopping it up with rich people and hanging out with all the rich people that he's been hanging out with. And I've been hearing a lot about you, Shannon Sharpe. Okay, I've been hearing about your history before FS1, before you became the person talking about Kaepernick and these other issues that you do on the FS1 show that's giving you very good ratings. I've been hearing about how you moved about. I've been hearing about that. But we're not going to go there personally on you. But I want you to know I am aware. I know some people that you know who have been telling me about how you got down and who you associated with and what you really was about before suddenly becoming Mr. Black Voice for America. So I want you to know I'm not operating from a position of ignorance. The only thing I know about you is your persona on FS1. Back to your comments, sir. You said, why must blacks running for political office always answer the question, rather they are black enough to white people? What I don't like, first of all, I don't like the framing of the question, but I don't like the caper for Kamala Harris. We know that's the reason why you're asking this question. Just say it. Why y'all being mean to Kamala? Why y'all being mean to Kamala? Kamala deserves so much more consideration. Look at her. She black. She got brown. She black. She got brown skin. What's the problem? Why y'all asking her questions about her, who she is? Then he says, whites running political office never get asked, never. I ain't going to be an asshole. I know he meant never. Get asked, are they white enough by white people? Now look, guys. I took some classes. In Maryland University. I took some classes at Northern Community College. I took some classes at PG Community College. You're looking at a product of the Prince George's County public school system. I do not have a degree, but I've worked around people with degrees who had them and that weren't that smart. I'm going to submit to you that this comment made by Shannon Sharpe, I'm not going to say he's not a smart man, but I'm going to tell you this tweet is not written smartly, nor does it make a cohesive argument for what he's trying to say. Now, a lot of you who came at me for dissecting this tweet in a series of tweets, you let him slide because he got money. That's the reason why. Because this is a broken English, don't make much sense, calling black people out, comparing black people to white people. Well, we all know black people and white people. It's a vast difference between where we are financially and on the wealth ladder in this country, both in power, both in wealth, both in property, both in resources. We already know that. There is no comparison. Shannon Sharpe is 40-something years old, just like me. We both grown men. And if Shannon wants to act as if he doesn't know there's a reason, like he wants to act like he doesn't know why black people would be concerned when somebody says they black and when they announce their candidacy on Martin Luther King Day. Wrap up his tweet. Then he ends it up, he says, let's stop defeating ourselves. Black people before we run the race. Lord have mercy, y'all. Lord have mercy. This is what I'm talking about, y'all. He says we need to stop defeating ourselves. And it's not the systemic problems that Elizabeth Warren laid out when it comes to like redlining and the racial wealth gap that she has produced legislation to combat. No, it's us. We the problem. Well, if we just get out our own way, everything will be A-okay. If we just shut up and stop questioning our politicians, because we all know that's really what's holding us back, us asking black politicians if they black. Yeah, it wasn't segregation and Jim Crow and slavery and Reconstruction and redlining and mass incarceration. It wasn't none of that. The cocaine being thrown into our neighborhoods, the crack era, the overcard, the 3-strike laws. It wasn't that. Our real problem is we be asking black politicians, are you really black? I.e., meaning, do you really give a damn about black people? Shannon, you are smart enough to know that's the reason why people ask that question. Now, I don't agree with it because I don't think it's helpful, because later on I'm going to agree with something you say, which is, listen, it doesn't matter what color somebody is if they don't have your best interests at heart. Right? I've been saying that since 2014. None of this is new. We've been saying the same things. It's just different people say it different ways. And different people have been saying it to different audiences. But I've been saying this since 2014 when I discovered what Obama was really doing. People who have watched me know this. You don't know me? You think, oh, I'm a coon because I call out Shannon. There are people calling me coon for calling out Shannon Sharpe after he made a tweet like this, because they are so stars in their eyes that they can't even read a tweet and say, hold on a second. Why is he blaming black people for black people being in the situation they're in? Hell, in my opinion, Elizabeth Warren, she may not be Native American, but she sure is blacker than Shannon Sharpe based on her legislation. And why do we allow rich people like Shannon Sharpe who has succeeded? Everybody throwing in my face, everybody need to do as well as Shannon Sharpe. Well, you know what? Everybody can't play football. Everybody can't play football and everybody can't rap. But that don't mean that everybody don't deserve opportunity, sister. I know you like him. I know it makes you feel good when you see him up on his show and spitting that stuff and talk about Kaepernick. But what about everybody else? What about this tweet that's horrible, that was sent out, how many times to get retweeted, guys? 14,000 likes and 3,000 retweets. All right. Now, I responded to the gentleman, and I will admit I was not the nicest person when I responded to him, okay? But what I did not do was call him out of his name. What I did not do was insult him as a man. I did not call him names and did not insult his manhood. Okay, I did not. But I did question him. And I think I have the right to question him. Who is he? He's just a person like me. And this is what I said to Mr. Sharpe. All right? And I'm going to let my audience take a look at this. And you let me know how wrong I am, okay? You can decide to follow me, unfollow me, or whatever you want to do. I said, basically, Shannon's saying, don't y'all go causing trouble demanding candidates have plans for your communities. Meanwhile, Shannon hasn't lived in our community for 20 years. Shannon believes speaking on black issues on FS1 equal political power. It doesn't. Don't be like Shannon. All right? Now, that was a hard tweet. I didn't pull any punches. But that's how I felt about it at the time. I felt that Shannon Sharpe was telling us don't go causing trouble, demanding that our candidates have plans for our communities. I went on to say other things that also spoke to Shannon Sharpe. I was just getting started then. Hey, that was just me getting warmed up. That was my first tweet. I didn't know he was going to stop talking after that. I didn't know he was going to stop talking. I thought he was going to keep going. I said to Shannon Sharpe, Shannon Sharpe is complaining we need to do. Shannon Sharpe is complaining we need to treat politicians better. Black folks are the most loyal voting bloc in America. Shouldn't that mean an agenda? Shannon thinks that should mean silence. It means anyone who thinks like Shannon is not fit to lead. Period. All right. Now, just because I think it was a good response to Shannon doesn't mean you think it was a good response to Shannon. Okay? Then I posted this remark, and I said, median household net worth by race and employment status. Now, this is compliments of Sandy Darity, an economic professor at Duke University, if I'm not mistaken, who's been lauded and often mentioned by Tone Talks and Yvette Cornell, Breaking Brown, Yvette Cornell, and Tone Talks in their work. And it shows you exactly. I posted this picture and I said, look, man, a picture's worth 1,000 words, or at least 280 characters. And it just shows you the difference between what's going on with black America, what's going on with white America. This is the median household net worth by race and employment status. This is not salary. It's not saying that the average white household makes $144,000 a year. It says their median household net worth. You know, assets. I think it's a big difference between $144,000 and $11,000. Now, I could stay on the Shannon Sharpe situation all night, and I could go over and over about how I feel about Shannon Sharpe, and I could continue to lay out our tweets. I will, in respect to Shannon Sharpe, he did respond to me one time. Shannon Sharpe said, everyone knows Shannon doesn't basically say, I say it. Do get mad at my political well-being. Another problem that you and others perpetuate in black communities. If blacks don't live in black communities, they don't care. FOH, meaning fuck out of here. Okay? So that's what he said to me. That was his response to me, was that everyone knows Shannon doesn't basically say, I say it. Do get mad at my financial well-being. I'm not mad. Did I say anything about Shannon Sharpe's financial well-being? I did not say anything bad about Shannon Sharpe's financial well-being. I said that Shannon Sharpe is not thinking like a person in the community that's been decimated. We need to hold politicians accountable. We don't need you caping for Kamala Harris. That's what this tweet's about. No one's a fool. No one is fooled. His tweet is about Kamala Harris. With all due respect, sir. One grown-ass man to another grown-ass man. You have been elevated, Shannon Sharpe, not because of what you did on the football field. There are many great football players. You have been elevated by the black community because your ability to speak what? Truth to power. That's why people like you, Shannon Sharpe. You get up on that show with Skip Bayless and you tell it. Like you say, you don't just basically say it, you say it. And I admire that. But. Be careful, Shannon Sharpe. The reason why we respect you is because you're speaking truth to power. But what you did today is you spoke falsehoods to the powerless. You blame the powerless people for their own condition. You defended politicians. You are more concerned with the feelings of politicians. Why do we ask politicians why they think about black people? Instead of saying, you know what, the politicians are applying for a job. A politician don't have to answer the question, but they can be asked the question because they are applying to be a public servant. It's not the other way around. So my thing is this, Shannon Sharpe, if you would like to maintain your exalted status, you ain't got to want to. You can say, I don't want to do it. I ain't got time to be criticized by no dumb Tim Black on Twitter. Who's this guy? I'm a Hall of Fame all-pro player. I'm just suggesting that maybe you stay in your lane and make sure when you speak truth to power that you're not punching down on the very people that support you, sir. Now, I know there's a lot of people who this went over their head. They were mad that I was talking bad about their uncle. They never met you, don't know you. They defended you like you was a brother. I get it. But you and I both know, later in your tweets, when you started talking a little bit different, when you start saying, just because somebody black doesn't mean they have doesn't mean they going to vote black or do right things for black people. Yeah, you started cleaning it up after I pressed you. That's what you should have been doing to begin with. Do not cape for politicians who have not earned our vote. You would never, ever knock a Jewish person for saying, what you going to do for Israel? If you did, you'd have no show. You would never knock the LGBTQ community or the Asian community or the Native American community or the Latino community for saying to politicians, oh, you want to run on us and you want to announce your candidacy on Cinco de Mayo, and we ask you, well, where are you from? And you got a problem with that? You would be like, well, that don't make sense, because it doesn't. But for some reason, too many celebrities like yourself, Shannon Sharpe, you think you can say anything to black folks and get away with it. Well, you are going to be challenged because we have black media now. And not everybody's willing to kiss ass. Not everybody. I'm going to hold you accountable like I hold anybody else accountable. And that goes to politicians as well. And in turn, you can hold us accountable. We hold each other accountable. I'm not your enemy, but I'm not your fan. At least not too much of a fan to call you out when you're wrong. That tweet went to thousands of people. And you should have said it better. You should have stated what you meant. There should have been no misunderstanding who you was talking to, sir. I should have never been lost in the weeds thinking you supporting a candidate over the people. Why do black people do such and such? I don't know. Look, that didn't work for Bill Cosby. It shouldn't work for you. Why do black people do this and black people do that? We have been given a shaft, and it ain't because we asked black people or black candidates about where they from. That ain't why, brother.